Good evening, class. We are going to start working on solving two-step equations. Now, this is why I told you that you had to get used to the process steps that we were going to use, because unlike one-step equations, these we can't always just see the answer, especially when we use integers and decimals and rational numbers. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start with undo addition or subtraction with the inverse. And remember, inverse means opposite operation. Undo multiplication or division with the inverse or opposite operation. We're going to isolate your variable and check your answer every single time. Okay, we're going to look at this model to create an equation. How many x's do I have? 2x. And I have plus 1, 2, 3, 4 equals 1, 2, 3. So this is a two-step equation because there are two things we have to do. Now, one of the things I like to do is when we solve equations, we use PEMDAS. When we undo equations, we write PEMDAS backwards and write SADMAP. Remember, this is subtract or add from left to right, divide or multiply from left to right, exponents, parentheses. So when we undo an equation, everything is backwards from how we learned. Okay, so I'm going to draw my line down. That stays the same. So instead of starting with multiplication here, like we would with PEMDAS, we go backwards, and we're going to start with addition or subtraction. So the very first thing we're going to do is ask ourselves, what is the inverse operation of adding 4? And I hope everyone's saying subtract 4. And whatever I do to this side of my equation, I need to do to this side of my equation. And I need to keep it balanced. So this becomes 0. That's perfect. Remember, we want it to 0 out. So we bring this down and I get 2x. And I have to keep my coefficient stuck to my variable. Bring my equal sign down. And what is 3 minus 4? -1. Okay. Now this is just like a one-step equation. This is multiplied, but they're married, they're touching. So 2x, how do I break up a marriage? You better believe it. We're going to divorce them or divide them apart. So we're going to divide here. 2 divided by 2 leaves me with just x. And then -1 divided by 2. I can leave that as a fraction or write it as a decimal. Either way is correct. Okay, let's look at this one. How many x's do I have? I have 3x. Plus how many? 2 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, first step is always draw a line down our equal sign. We need to see that balance. We're going to undo the addition or subtraction. So here we have addition. What is the inverse operation? Subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, because whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. I'm going to bring down my coefficient and variable, and I'm going to solve this part of my problem. 8 minus 2 is 6. Now I have to undo multiplication. Well, multiplication, the opposite of multiplication or the inverse of multiplication is division, correct. And so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Oh yeah, we are supposed to be checking these. So I'm going to check this one for you guys. 3, oops, can't write it down there. 3 times 2 plus 2 is 8. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 does equal 8. Yes, indeed, it does work. Okay, so we are going to practice a couple different times. And we do have to check. Look, they even write that checkbox down, because you know this bad math teacher doesn't like to always do her checks. So, first thing we're going to do, nope, I don't know what it's doing there. Put a button. Okay, is we're going to draw our line down the equal sign. And we're going to look here, and they wrote them in a different order, but I still need to do my addition or subtraction first, which is that plus 10. The opposite of plus 10 is minus 10. So I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. I'm going to bring down my coefficient and my variable. And 22 minus 10 is 12. Now these guys are married, they are touching, so that is multiplication. To undo multiplication, I need to use division. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 leaves me just with k. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Rewrite your problem in check form. Plug in your new answer, and I have 10 plus 12 equals 22. Does 22 equal 22? Yes, it does. Okay, let's go ahead and try another problem. Now this time, they put the equals first, but you know what? It's the same thing. So I'm going to draw my line down the equal sign. 19 equals 4p minus 5. First thing I'm going to do is find my inverse operation. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Bring down my coefficient and my variable, and I get 19 plus 5 is 24. Once again, this is a married couple, right? They're touching, so it's multiplication. I need to break them apart. So we're going to divorce them by dividing them by 4 on both sides. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Rewrite your problem to check it. Oops, minus 5. And I get 19 equals 6 times 4 is 24 minus 5. And 19 does equal 19. It checks. Okay, number 3. A lot of people don't like this kind because of that, fraction division sign, but it's okay. First thing we're going to do is draw our line. Opposite of subtraction is addition. Good job. We're going to add 8 to both sides. And I get 24. Bring down my variable. This zeroes out. I get r divided by 2 is 24. What is the opposite of division? Multiplication. So I'm going to multiply this side by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1r. And then 24 times 2 is 48. Let's see if that's true. 48 divided by 2 minus 8 is 16. Well, what is 48 divided by 2? 24. And what is 24 minus 8? 16. Does 16 equal 16? Yes, indeed it does. Okay. Okay, you are going to practice. And you are going to do, I'm not going to make you do all of these. This is too many. I want you to do number 2, number 3, number 4, number 8, number 11, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that should be good. 2, 3, 4, 8, and 11. You are going to practice. And then you're going to give me a summary of today's lesson right over here. You're going to write 2 to 3 sentences talking specifically about two-step equations, how they are same, how they are different from one-step equations. Maybe mention SADMAP versus PEMDAS, things that we've just talked about. I will see you guys in class tomorrow. You have a fabulous evening.